This right here gonna be a cakewalk.
At the time of me making this video, I put a total of 60 hours in Tekken 8 in total, from the closed network test and to the beta test. That journey across those 60 hours has been a rocky one, I'll say. Started off pretty much knowing nothing about the gameplay and then slowly learning everything there is to know about what the gameplay experience is about. Now, I'm not talking about what the gameplay, like, oh, this character frame data is this and that. It's going to take years to learn all of that stuff. But I'm just talking about understanding how the heat system works, the chip damage, all of these kind of mechanics work. Like I said, it's been rocky. But first, before we talk about gameplay, let's just talk about how the game is working as a system, as a function. We didn't talk about this enough in a closed network test, and I feel like I should just reflect on that and mention it. But in the closed network test, the 20 to 45 minute wait times between matches was ridiculous, and that was really a bigger red flag than anything we've seen. So for the beta test, that's something that was always in the back of my mind, but I never really brought it to the forefront and spoke about it in videos because one, I felt like they should fix it. They said that they would fix it, but I was just wondering, can they fix it? Now in the beta, there's nothing like that. Yes, there's still some wait times. I did a 10-hour live stream. There was people who was popping in who was saying, can you guys find a match? Are you guys struggling to find a match? Mostly it was PC players. There was a lot of PC issues, but for consoles, it was pretty smooth. Even when you went up against someone who was lagging or someone who had a bad connection, maybe you had a bad connection to each other, whatever. It was way better than Tekken 7, I would say. Tekken 7, if there's even the slightest bit of lag, it would be a catastrophe. At least Tekken 8, you can still play through the match. You may not love it, you may not be head over heels, but you can still play through it, get through it, react, act, all of these different things. So that was a big improvement and something that I did personally. You know how you can set the connection from you only want people who have 5 bars, 4 bars, or you could drop it down. I was dropping it down because this is a quote unquote test, right? So I really wanted to test, like, if I go up against someone who's a 3 bar, 2 bar, 1 bar, what is that going to be like? And I know its experiences are going to be the best, but I just want to see what can Tekken 8 truly do. And I think Tekken 8 does a good job. Something you always got to keep in mind is if someone has a bad connection, you will never be able to fix that on the game side, right? That's something that will always exist. But Tekken 8 does the best that it could do, in my opinion. Now, something else that we have to mention, like I said, the PC players had a lot of issue, and another big issue was them not being able to get into the Tekken Lounge. I slowly started to see people roll into the live streams like, hey, how are you guys in the Tekken Lounge? I can't get in. And I was like, what? You can't get in? I've been sitting here the whole time. Over and over and over again, I just seen people saying, how are you guys in there? And then I started to realize that it was PC players who wasn't able to get in. Fast forward a couple of hours, Tekken, they put out this important message for the Tekken 8 closed network beta test. It says, we are currently investigating 2 issues that have been reported for Steam users. Error occurs when Steam users try to enter Tekken Fight Lounge. I guess their game was crashing or not loading or something. So they did emergency maintenance. They took the server down, they fixed this, and then they brought it back up within like 1 or 2 hours. A lot of people was kind of like, ah, man, they're taking the servers down. I had to end my stream, but really it's for the best, so PC players can get in there and experience everything. Switching over to the gameplay aspect, I guess I'll start off with the good. The good is, one, I like Azucena. I think she's really, really good. And I'm not talking about tier list wise, like S tier, best in the game. I'm talking about she's just a good designed character. Usually in Tekken games, when they add in new characters, and new characters hated, whether it's Lars because he's anime, Alyssa because she's anime, Bob for whatever reason, Lucky Chloe, Gigas, Katarina, Josie, it seems like all the new characters are just constantly hated in Tekken. And it seems like that was going to be the same thing with Azucena. When she was first showed off at EVO, everyone saw the auto parry, everyone immediately got upset. And I was holding judgment because I was like, there's no way the developers can throw another Leroy at us. So this character came out, and this character is far from that. This character, in my opinion, is one of the funnest out of the 19 characters. I have yet to play Feng Wei. I'm saving him for the next stream. Tune into that. But I think Azucena, her playstyle is some of the most expressive that I've seen out of a character in a long time. Seeing someone really master that character, transition through all the stances and bait the opponent to attack and this and that. It's going to be really interesting to watch. I think they did a good job with designing her gameplay, her outfit, animations, her voice. Just a lot of things about the character really stands out, and that character is really popular because of that. Now the second thing is Raven. Raven is okay. I tried Raven twice, 3 times, 4 times I think, and he really just isn't my style. I don't want to say he's like slow or clunky or anything like that. I just think it's not really for me. His inputs wasn't really flowing for me mentally, but then also some of his combos wasn't really flowing for me as mentally. But I was playing against some people, and I was spectating people who was using Raven and actually putting some work in, and I was like, this guy looks actually pretty decent. And that is why I continued to try him and try him and try him, because I was hoping that it would click in my brain and I would be able to like be more adjusted to the character, but it just wasn't happening. I'm going to keep trying him because, you know, I think the character looks cool visually, and I think the character is definitely different than a lot of the characters in the roster so far, but as of yet, the character just isn't clicking for me mentally. Now let's move on. Okay, so I'm going to read Arsenal's tweet and then we'll go from there. It says, there are so many things to love about Tekken 8. The character uniqueness, the multiple game modes, and the amazing graphics. You can also talk about like the music, like a lot of stuff to love about Tekken 8. However, and that's a big however, I really don't like the heat mechanic. I feel like it's the one thing that could destroy the game. Now, I had my concerns about the heat system playing the closed network test. I felt like it simplified characters too much, and I felt like it made all the characters redundant. You launch, you do a screw, you heat system, you heat dash, you do. I felt like it was just so simple, so generic, so basic, right? And they, of course, took all that feedback from all of us in a closed network test, and they changed it this time going into the beta test. But I still feel like the heat system is just not cutting it. I don't know what it is about the heat system, but I don't like how it freezes you when you're attacking the opponent and then they just get a free hit. I don't like how it's kind of acts as like a rage drive or a second rage art. Like people, when they're in danger, they will freeze you, they will steal pressure, and then they will hit the R1 again, and then they'll just do like some more crazy madness. That to me just feels like it's 2 rage arts, it's 2 rage drives, it's just too powerful in a sense. I think the heat mechanic has potential, but the way you activate heat is very problematic in my opinion. I think they should just take another look at that, and I don't know if they should nerf it or if they should change it, but I feel like the activation for the heat system is too disruptive, and I feel like it just, you know, changes the whole entire way both players react to one another. Like they want people to be aggressive and fight and this and that, but why would you press buttons when the opponent can freeze you and hit you? And then also, if you try to apply more pressure, they have their rage art once again. So for me, that aspect is really bad, and I think they should take a look at the activation of the heat. I really don't want that to take away from how much fun I think Tekken 8 is. This game has a lot of life, and I seen some people popping into the live stream. There was one person particularly who was like, I see what you mean when you say Tekken 8's gonna blow Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 6 out of the water. Like that person got to play it and they got to see like how different it is from watching it. And this is something that I really try to emphasize in my videos, is like watching it is nothing like